Hey, I'm Just Willie. I'm a TV and media critic who occasionally branches out to other stuff. I've got some pretty cool friends. A little strange, maybe, but cool. There's Nick, an AI copy of a buddy of mine from college that I installed on my smart TV. He's supposed to keep the show on track, but he spends more time watching Brazilian cooking shows. There's King Ralph Detritus, an old toy from my childhood who is somehow alive. And he rules a massive underground kingdom from a stronghold in my basement. There's Zylogaphia P. Robinson. She's a magical winter elf who started out as an observer from the International Internet Reviewers Guild, but she sorta went native. So if you want to know the story, go and watch the back catalog. If you're just interested in a review of the thing you clicked on, sit back, relax, and don't ask questions. Or if you have questions, leave them in the comments. Maybe I'll answer. The only question you can be sure I'm gonna answer is, did I get what I paid for? Okay, it's July, so you know what that means.
We're finally watching Captain America First Avenger?
No, we have production problems. So we're gonna do another shorts compilation.
It's still Captain America stuff, right?
Yep, when we reviewed Captain America Man and Wolf last year, somebody asked me, why didn't you review the lead feature from Captain America number 408?
Who? Who asked you that? Was it Ralph?
Don't look at me. I know, my dear.
It wasn't me.
I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. So, none of you wondered why the story just ends and Cap is still a werewolf? None of you? Well, somebody did. It was that guy, the little tiny guy inside the TV connected to the camera. So, if you can hear me, tiny little guy, I can see you, so, stop picking your nose.
Whose turn is it to tell him that's the viewfinder?
Anyway, we're gonna review that and a little surprise. If you say so. Our story begins with Dr. Druid making sure that Night Lady keeps her promise to turn the werewolves back to normal. At first, she's reluctant until Captain America walks in. She's like, that's bullshit. I will not treat them. I will not. Oh, hi, Cap. Cap turns to Dr. Druid and says, didn't Dreadman slit your throat? How are you even alive? Dr. Druid says, ta-da! Magic! Nightline tries her formula on Manwolf. Cap seems really surprised to find out it's John Jameson.
And he shouldn't be.
Why?
Because of this.
Cap says, look, I just want to know where your son is. Jameson says, John and I don't talk much. Cap says, well, the Air Force assigned him to be my pilot, but he's disappeared. Jameson says, and you're afraid he's gone all man-wolf again, right? Cap nods. Jameson says, if you find him and he's changed, please help him, but I've got to find a way to pin this on Spider-Man for page 1. Well, he's still a wolf. His mind is kind of scrambled. Night of a Thousand Sorrows says, all right, Cap, your turn. She injects him, and then this guy shows up.
An evil twin of Cap? It's Thursday already? The week went by just like that.
Good Cap and evil Cap fight it out for a bit. Then Dr. Druid says, I don't think this guy is human, let alone exists in the same way that you and I do. Cap says, okay, then I'll just kill him. Then evil Cap disappears. 3 days later, Night on the town is ranting and raving about her innocence. She says, how is it fair that I get arrested and Moon Tobin gets to go free? I was mind controlled too. Nobody believes her, apart from Wolfsbane. Yeah, all the big name guest stars like Cable and Wolverine left during the 3-day gap. They had about a dozen other comic to guest star in that week. The second stringers stuck around, but by now even they're beginning to see this story as a big waste of time. The promised Infinity War tie-in lasted all of 2 pages.
Or did it?
And trust me, when even Jack Russell, the werewolf by night, doesn't want to do a cameo in your story, you got problems. John Jameson wants out of the story, and he was a regular supporting cast member on the book. He says, Cap, look, it's been fun being your pilot and all, but, becoming Man-Wolf again has made me realize that, when I rejoined the service, it was to assuage my injured ego. When you get right down to it, I'm the same type of self-righteous hypocrite as my dad. I am no hero. Cap says, nonsense. You've saved me dozens of times. If you ever change your mind, the Avengers will always have a spot open for you. Or maybe the Defenders. Wait, I know. You, Hellcat, Beta Ray Bill, and NFL Super Pro could form the new champions. Then Moon Pie shows up. He says, hey, does anyone need a lift home? And they all ride off into the sunset. And that's it.
Not quite. The story's not over yet. At least not until you do the epilogue scene.
But last time you said the D-Man stuff was pointless.
Yeah, but you got annoyed by those segments as much as I did, so you're doing it.
Fine. Dennis Dumpy is sitting by a lake in Central Park having a nice, peaceful rest. Then he's attacked by an evil duplicate of his old costumed identity, D-Man. Captain Catatonia might not be in fighting form, but the evil twin is. He drowns the original and then rises out of the lake with a
To be continued.
But that story's not in the trade, so that's it. That's the comic.
No!
This issue feels like the usually brilliant Mark Grunwald had this Werewolf Captain America story that should have taken 6 issues. But due to corporate mandated guest stars like Cable and Wolverine, couldn't be finished in that amount of space. So we needed another issue. Then his editors told him, oh, and it has to tie in to our big summer event. So Grunwald crapped out a script that met those requirements in an afternoon. But guess what? He couldn't even do that. In those days, the standard length for a comic was between 28 and 32 pages, depending on the length of the letter columns. This story, if you can even call it that, was only 10 pages. There's a Falcon backup in this issue that's 8 pages. Comics Index lists there being a 3rd story in this issue, but it's not reprinted here. It might be in the next volume of the trade because it is very closely tied to the story after this one. This issue uses some of the worst tactics of 90s comics. Look, event tie-in stories can be good. Within the Infinity War alone, look at how the New Warriors handled the doppelganger threat, or all the craziness going on in Peter David's Hulk. But for every story like one of those, you had about 5 writers who were coasting off the almost guaranteed sales boost of an event logo in the corner to coast off of mediocrity. Was this the worst comic I've ever read? It wasn't written or drawn by Jack Chick, so no. But Mark Grunwald was one of the best writers Captain America has ever had. You wouldn't be able to tell that by reading this comic.
Okay, let's do another quick one. That's what she said.
Okay, how about X-Men the Animated Series, Season 5, Episode 11?
What's that got to do with Captain America?
Do you really want him to spend 45 minutes explaining that?
Good point. Just get on with it.
Our story begins at the cemetery outside of Paris where these G.I. Joes are hosting Duke's 50th anniversary memorial service. They see this guy and they think he looks familiar. They shout, "Yo!" He turns around and they see he's only about 30, so he couldn't possibly be who they thought he was. They're really sorry for the mistake. Meanwhile, Logan is standing over the grave of this dead French guy named Andre Cocteau. He's cursing the guy's name, saying he'll never be able to enjoy visiting Paris. Then we get a flashback to his days working for the OSS back in World War II. It turns out he had a lot of fun with Nazis.
Yeah, sure, if you call pelting them with rocks and hiding fun.
He leaps into an alley. He finds an abandoned Joanne's Fabrics. He knocks on the door and gives a passcode. This woman leads him down to the catacombs. There, Captain Happy Sawyer says, "This guy, Dr. Andre Cocteau, is being held in Chateau de Mort. We want you to rescue him. If you can't, silence him." Logan says, "What do you mean, silence?" Sawyer says, "Look, I've heard you're the best there is at what you do. You figure it out. Don't worry, it shouldn't be much of a problem. We've got you some backup." Logan says, "I do not do backup. If you expect me to take on a sidekick, I walk." The woman says, "But if you don't take the mission, I'll never see my father again." Logan says, I, I was kidding, honest." He goes outside and comes across a young Jean Valjean being hassled by Nazis over a loaf of bread. So it's time for...
Snicked!
Yep. And there are a lot more of these guys than Logan thought. But here comes Cap, so it's barely a challenge. They head to the chateau. They reach a point where the path isn't so easy to navigate, so they put on these gloves equipped with metal claws in order to ease the climb.
Doesn't Wolverine have his own claws?
This is pre-Weapon X, so even if the anatomy is in place, they're made of bone, not adamantium. Anywho, while they're climbing the mountain, Logan asks, "This mission is supposed to be covert. What with the PJs?" Cap says, "They're meant to be inspirational. It's hard to do that when you're invisible." Logan says, "Yeah, but has it occurred to you that just this once, toning it down a bit might be a good idea?" The Nazis love a dramatic moment and attack. But come on! It's Captain America and Wolverine, and Logan is just beginning to figure out what claws are good for. It takes them all of 15 seconds to beat the snot out of these guys and break into the chateau. And right there in the living room is Dr. Cockatiel.
Cocteau?
That's what I said. Anyway, Dr. Coconut is building Nazi robots. He doesn't want to go with his rescuers, So Logan Vulcan neck pinches him. They make it halfway down the hallway when you'll never guess what happens.
Oh, big surprise. It's another Nazi attack.
Maybe. But an alarm goes off, so there are a hell of a lot more of them. And since this is the midpoint of an episode, it's time for a boss fight. That's right. Only the evil genius of the Red Skull could come up with the plan of Nazi killer robots. Cocteau says, "See, Red Skull, I pulled the alarm. I'm a good boy. Can I have my sausages now?" We come back from commercial with Cap and Logan in a death trap. Red Skull has taken their gear. He's a supervillain, so he leaves the room. Which means all it takes is for them to do a few well-timed circus maneuvers and apply a little bit of superpowered elbow grease to escape. Red Skull says, "We meet again for the last time." There's a big fight with bullets flying, giant robots, and lots of explosions. Logan climbs the thing. Cap frisbees it with his shield. It explodes. The whole chateau starts going up. The Red Skull and Dr. Kakamami get away in this jet and...
But there's something on the wing of the plane.
Yeah, Cap and Logan. They fall off and land in this wagon full of hay. It starts rolling downhill, like wagons do. They jump off right before it falls off a cliff. Then they get rescued by those soldiers from the beginning. We flash forward to the present. Logan is standing over Coca Cabana's tombstone. He asks, "How come you get buried in this graveyard for some of the greatest heroes history has ever known, while Steve Rogers is all but forgotten?" Huh? Huh? You know what, Cocteau? Fuck this shit. This old woman steps out. It's Cocteau's daughter. She says, because, look, Captain Sawyer told me that this was need to know, but it's been 50 years. It's going to be declassified next week anyway, so I might as well tell you. My father was on a mission to infiltrate the Nazi science division in order to sabotage experiments. You and Captain America were supposed to fuck up your mission to make his defection seem legit. Logan says, "If there's one thing I hate more than backup, it's being used." She says, "We all had to make hard choices during the war, and there's more than one way to be a hero."
And Logan says, "Take your heroism and blow it out your ass. I'm out of here."
No, he accepts it. Then he slashes the word hero onto the grave. And that's it. That's the episode. Yes! Is this the best Captain America thing I've ever reviewed for this channel? No, that would be the Spidey and Cap team up I reviewed back in 2023. Is it the worst Captain America related thing I've ever reviewed for this channel? No, it's not the 1960s Captain America cartoon or the movie from 1990. However, this is a kid's cartoon that not only mentions World War II, but name drops Hitler. But it portrays stopping Nazis as a good old American and Canadian pastime. That's a message that needs reinforcing these days.
Oh, Jess, you forgot something. In this episode is a loose adaptation of Uncanny X-Men number 268. You get 1 off the scoreboard.
Wait, you're going soft on him, aren't you?
Maybe a little.
Come on, let's go get some hot dogs and watch the fireworks.
Don't you mean a Reuben sandwich and churros?
And snow cones? Outside boom boom scary. Outside boom boom scary. Outside boom boom scary.
Whoa, wait for me. I don't have legs. Never mind.
Huh? What?
Oh, good. Your angular confinement being finally stabilized, and I don't have to store your quantum information in a virtual environment. Don't worry, I extracted the Captain America thing from the programming framework and turned it into an episode, just like I did with the Muppet movie.
These are not the clothes I beamed out in. And what's with the beard?
Oh, it was nothing. There's like a little bump in the road here and there. This is steps number 4 or 5,000 ish.
How long was I in the buffer?
About 3 weeks, give or take. I was able to give you a shower, change your clothes, but you should probably shave and maybe get a haircut before the next episode.
Which just happens to be my 45th birthday special. What did Mr. Hedgehog do to deserve that? No like and subscribe, no like and subscribe, no like and subscribe. Well, in that case...